They used to call them dead cities. Broken cities. Cities you pass through with the windows rolled up. Cleveland. Detroit. Two names America quietly wrote off, and two cities that refused to stay buried. This isn't just a city comparison. This is a survival story. A comeback story. A straight-up fight for respect. Because if you think you already know Cleveland and Detroit, you don't. Let's start with Detroit. Detroit didn't just fall. It collapsed in front of the entire world. This was the city that built America's middle class. Cars. Factories. Assembly lines. Ford. GM. Chrysler. If you drove in America, Detroit touched your life. Then the jobs left. The factories shut down. Neighborhoods emptied overnight. Entire blocks went dark. Schools closed. Streetlights stopped working. By the time Detroit declared bankruptcy, people weren't even shocked anymore. They were tired. But here's the part nobody expected. Detroit didn't die. It went quiet. And in that quiet, something dangerous grew. Artists moved into abandoned warehouses. Entrepreneurs bought entire buildings for the price of a used car. Urban farmers turned empty lots into food sources. Downtown Detroit started glowing again. Sports arenas came back. Music came back. Pride came back. Detroit didn't ask for permission. It rebuilt itself. Now let's talk Cleveland. Cleveland's fall was quieter, but just as painful. Steel left. Manufacturing dried up. The river literally caught on fire. Cleveland became a punchline. Late-night jokes. Internet memes. America's favorite city to clown on. But Cleveland did something different. Instead of chasing hype, Cleveland focused on stability. Healthcare exploded. The Cleveland Clinic became world-class. Education stayed strong. Neighborhoods held together instead of disappearing. While Detroit burned and rebuilt, Cleveland quietly reinforced its foundation. And today? That difference matters. Let's break this down the way people actually care about. Cityscape vibe and amp, personality. Detroit feels raw. Unfiltered. Like a city that's been through hell and doesn't apologize for it. Cleveland feels grounded. Blue collar. Like a place where people stay, not just pass through. Detroit is loud resilience. Cleveland is stubborn survival. Briefcase jobs and amp, opportunity. Detroit is betting on comebacks. Tech startups, mobility companies, creative industries, real estate flips everywhere. High risk. High reward. Cleveland is betting on security. Healthcare, research, education, corporate offices. Less flashy. More dependable. Detroit attracts dreamers. Cleveland attracts planners. Flying money. Cost of living. Here's where both cities shock people. You can still buy a house in both cities for less than rent in coastal cities. Detroit is cheaper, but riskier block by block. Cleveland is slightly more expensive, but more consistent. Detroit is opportunity hunting. Cleveland is peace of mind. Culture and amp, identity. Detroit is music. Motown. Techno. Hip-hop. Music didn't just come from Detroit. It was forged there. Cleveland doesn't shout its culture, it lives it. Sports loyalty that borders on insanity. Neighborhood pride. Food spots locals gatekeep. Detroit creates movements. Cleveland builds traditions. National perception. Detroit is the underdog everyone wants to root for. Cleveland is the city everyone underestimates. Detroit gets headlines. Cleveland gets results. Detroit says, "Watch us rise." Cleveland says, "We never left." Trophy, so, who wins? If you're chasing energy, reinvention, and raw creativity, Detroit hits harder. If you want stability, community, and long-term living, Cleveland plays smarter. Detroit is the comeback kid with scars. Cleveland is the quiet fighter still standing. And here's the truth nobody likes to admit. America doesn't need just one of these cities. It needs both. Because Cleveland proves you can survive without hype. And Detroit proves you can rebuild from ashes. If you had to choose, which city are you betting on? Drop your answer in the comments. Like if you respect the comeback bell, subscribe, because this city battle series is just getting started.